you very much, everybody, for joining us for our second webinar with Joe Pinella from Healing Movement Systems. We're happy that you're here this morning. Joe has been working with kybun mats and kybun shoes since about 6 years. And he is going to show you today what kind of exercises you can do if you have knee and back pain. Joe, I wanted to ask you the question right up front. What, in your work, what have you seen as being the causes of the knee and back pain?
Well, hi, Carolyn. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back again, and welcome to the people who were here before and to new people who are here for the first time. So, back pain, I have been doing these kinds of practices with clients and students for a long time, and the number one issue people come to me with are back pain, knee pain, and hip pain. And all of those three pains can have an association. They don't come from the same place. So most of what I do is all based on foundation. Foundation is got to be strong on the bottom for everything to be built straight. So back pain, why do we have back pain come from so many different things? It can come from one part of the body being out of balance with the other part because of an injury, or because of muscle imbalances, or because of our job. We sit at a desk. They say sitting is now the new smoking, sitting all day long at computers and desks and driving, where the body is bent. So back pain can come from the fascia being constricted or tight, plantar fasciitis, one leg being shorter than the other. So there isn't a single reason for back pain, but there sure are hundreds of different things. And because of my experience with fascia, then I can translate these injuries into a way where people can understand and see, what's going on. One of the things that people say to me when they are in pain, they have back pain, is that I don't move, I don't do anything, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do. Science has showed us that when we move and exercise in specific ways, that the circulation and the movement actually promotes healing. So sitting and not doing anything anymore, or restricting our movements in the long run, does more damage.
And Joe, how does working with kybun mat and shoes along with your program help actually people with knee pain and back pain?
Okay, well, that's exactly what I want to show people and explain to them now. The system in the body is all put together with guide wires. Bones are connected to each other through a rigging system. So when the rigging system is crooked, then the body is out of shape. And when the body's out of shape, then we have pains in the back, pains in the hip, pains in the knees, because the foundation is not strong. So one of the great things that can happen when we're on the mat or in your shoes, because the shoes do the same thing as the mat, when you're on the mat is that the mat is going to give you strength in the postural muscles in the body. So I told you before that strength is the foundation of everything. If you're strong, you can stay out of balance. Okay? If you're weak, you have trouble staying even in balance. So strength is what we're going to look for to start to heal these back pains and knee pains that strengthen the body in a really specific way. So when you work out in the regular gym, when you work out exercises linear, you strengthen muscles and fascial chains in linear patterns. But when you work on the kybun mat and we do movements that make the body change and move in spirals and circles, then what happens is that you wind up getting the muscles strong around the joints, around them, in a way that looks like a Chinese finger lock. How many of you remember these old toys that we had, where you stick your fingers in, and the tighter you pull, the harder it is to get out, because this is a braid. And as you pull the braid, it constricts. Now, if you have a braid around the joints in the body, the ankle, the knee, the hips, the elbows, any of the joints in the body, if you have a myofascial chain of fascia and muscle all connected around the joint, then actually you put a brace on the inside of the body and you start to protect your joint by doing that. So we do exercises and we use the kybun mat, because the kybun mat is what I call a postural training tool. Because when we stand on this, you can't stand still. Every time I breathe, the body is moving. And every time I move, the muscles are firing, makes the body strong.
Right. And what can you show us exercises that you can do if you have knee pain and some for back pain, Joe?
Absolutely. I have some exercises that we can do right now, and I can show you. And I'm going to bring a chair into the film so that you can see how to do these. I need to explain something, because there's a real critical thing that you need to know, because other than that, it just becomes regular exercise. To make this really special, we have to look at the bottom of the foot. And the bottom of the foot has 3 spots on it. One behind the big toe, the size of a quarter, one behind the little toe, the size of a quarter, and the heel bone, the size of a $50 or a silver dollar. So now you have 3 spots on the bottom of your feet. And those spots, what you want to do is you want to keep the 2 in the front and the 1 in the back, even, 50-50. And then you want to keep the 1 behind the big toe and the little toe, 50-50. So those spots are what you're going to keep in your attention when you do my exercises. If you do the exercises with those in mind, then the muscles that keep you strong in that position are going to get strengthened. So one of the first things you can do, a very, very simple exercise, you stand on your mat, get a chair here in front of you so that you can hold on, because we always want to be safe. And what I want you to do, this is called the cat-cow squat. Some of you may know the yoga pose called cat-cow, where you round the back like a cat and then drop the belly like a cow. But we're going to do it like this, right here on the kybun. Or if you have your shoes on, you can do the same thing. So take and pull your belly in and squat from the knee down a little bit, and feel how the whole back here becomes round. If you pull your belly in, it causes you to do a crunch and a pelvic tilt at the same time, and you will feel the lumbar section of the back open. And then you come back up, and then you breathe out, pull your belly in and sink, and feel how your whole spine rounds. Let your eyes drop down about 6 or 7 feet in front of you on the floor. And then when you come back up, your eyes are back on the horizon. So your whole spine now becomes soft and flexible and round in a curve. Now this is going to be very, very powerful on this part of the back, because we don't move it a lot. It's stiff, it's hard back there. That's why we have pain. And so this opens everything up and relaxes. So start out with a few, do them gently, do them easy, and don't try and do too much. You know, in our practice, we say less is better. So find how many you can do, and our goal is always to do 9 of them. So we take a breath out, and breathe in. And you work up to it. So you start with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but make sure that you don't try for 9 and then the next day you're hurting here. Because you're going to be moving some muscles. You're going to be the expansion and contraction of muscles, going to get some circulation in there, going to bring nutrients in there, and it's going to start a healing process, get any debris out of the cells. So that's a really good thing to do for that lower back there. Now, for the knees, okay? again, everything I'm going to ever talk about is going to be related to fascia. And the fascia, we have fascial chains in the body. There's chains that go in certain directions. And so the knee is supported by fascia that goes around the arch of the foot and the ankle. So to work on that, you're going to go to the side, both feet, to the outside edge of this foot, to the inside edge of this foot. Outside edge of this foot. So this fascial chain connects up onto the sit bone, goes down the inside of the thigh, comes all the way up the IT band, goes all the way up to the lower back at the quadriceps lumborum. A lot of back pains here, but also a lot of knee pains, because this exercise here, take a breath in and relax and go, breathe out. Take a breath in, breathe out, and in. And you'll start to get this fascia that wraps around the stirrup, the arch of the foot like a stirrup, and that's going to start to release some of the pressure, because this IT band goes all the way up here to the lower back. So you work on the knee, and you work on the back at the same time again. Very, very difficult to work on one part of the body when you work on it as a unit, and imagine that the fascia and the fascial chains are connected to the whole body. Okay, now one of the very important fascias that cause a lot of back pain, a lot of hip pain, and knee pain are the crisscross fascias that go across the body like an X. So if I have a shoulder higher and then a hip, you can see how there's a strain pattern that goes this way. So if I have a strain pattern, one side is stronger than the other, then it's going to give me a backache on one side. And it's also going to affect the whole shape of the body. Because once this fascia that goes all the way around the back behind the ear pulls, it pulls me out of shape. I stay out of shape. Pretty soon my muscles ache. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shift the body to one side, and we're going to lift one shoulder up. Keep your eyes in the front, head straight, and then lift the other shoulder up. And then bring yourself back to this side, and you're going to lift one shoulder up, and you can feel the strain this way, and then I'm going to lift the other shoulder up, and you can feel the strain. So a muscle imbalance and a fascia imbalance on the crisscross fascia of the body is what has one shoulder up, one shoulder down. That affects this hip affects this knee affects that ankle, and before you know it, the foundation is off, and we have somebody comes with a knee pain, they come with a hip pain, they come with a back pain. Could be from one little thing like that. So these are things that we have to do to rebalance the fascia in the body. So let's try a couple of those right now. Ready? Shift, breathe out, eyes in the front, let your ear go to the shoulder. Now shift. Now come over on this side, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come back. So you do that. Again, we're always trying to do 9 on each side. Now you'll notice that I was using my breath there. Okay, that's what makes my program different than just conventional exercise, is that we're going to use the breath to elicit a response in the proteins in the muscle. And that response comes on an out breath. So when you're here and you go, you relax into the pose, you go soft into the pose, and the proteins inside the muscles can move. So that's what's going to really make a big difference. So we know that movement can heal, and we know that it has to be the right kind of movement. So all movement is good, but the right kind of movement can make things heal and change. That's what we're going to do. Okay, one more thing we can do now is for this crisscross fascia, this is a pose called looking back at the moon. And so you'll, again, start out slowly. You stand on the mat and bring your hands up here in front of you like you're holding a ball, and then turn from the hips, the shoulder, and the head. And come back, and then turn the hips, the shoulders, and the back. And you'll notice that my ankle turns, my knee turns, my hip turns, my spine turns, my shoulders turn, my neck turns. I've taken the whole entire spine and turned it and let it unwind and let it wind so everything can go into the right place. And that creates balance between the muscles and the structure between all the little vertebrae and everything. So there you go. You can work on your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your neck, and everything all at one time with that pose. Let's try a couple. We're going to use the breathing now. Remember I told you we're going to breathe a little different. Is it better if I stand this way for you? Stand this way better? Good. All right, so take a breath in. Remember, you're holding a ball here in front of you. Hold that ball. And turn your hips. When they stop, turn your shoulders. When they stop, turn your head. And then when you come back with your hips first, then your shoulders, and then your head. And then go the other way. You breathe out. Hips, shh. Shoulders, shh. Head. Come back. Hips. Shoulders. Head. All right? So you do that 9 times to each side. Again, start out with 3 to each side, then go to 6 to each side, then go to 9 to each side. All right? Let me get a little water.
Joe, I have a question for you. Actually, it's a question here from the audience. What kind of difference does the kybun mat and kybun shoes do when you do those exercises compared to when you are on the floor?
Okay, the big difference is that when you're on the floor, you come on the floor, now the muscles that I use to turn, they fire to turn me, they fire to bring me back. But we have different muscle systems in the body. And the postural ones, about 300 of those, and then about 300 plus set to prime movers. So when I'm on the floor, I'm doing the prime movers, okay? When I'm on the mat, I'm doing the postural and the prime movers because when I stay on the mat or in my shoes and do these exercises, it's impossible for the body to stand still. So what's happening is that all the little support muscles that don't normally get exercised when you're in the floor are the ones that have to do their share of the work. So if I have strong muscles in the front of the leg, strong muscles in the back of the leg, strong muscles on both sides of the leg, that's the 4 quarters. But what about the diagonals in between? So when we're on the kybun and I'm in the shoes, when we make these turns, those postural muscles are constantly firing. So it's having the muscles fire millions and millions and millions of times a second. And those postural muscles, every time they fire, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. So the benefit of doing the program on a kybun mat or in kybun shoes is intensified tenfold over. You know, I work with my clients and my students, and I've been doing it for years, and I tell them this is the single best tool that I have to help people get strong. People who are in pain, they can't start out doing squats. People who have back pain and knee pain, they can't move well. They don't want to move. It hurts to move. They need to start out gently. But they can start on their mat, they can start in their shoes, and they can do the program, and they can get stronger a little bit every day, 1 sheet of paper at a time, 1 sheet of paper at a time. And pretty soon those postural muscles are so strong that their body is in better alignment, their posture is better, their breathing is better, their movement starts to become more fluid. This is not going to change overnight. This is a process. And if they do this program and they do these exercises, they're going to get better and better.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And do you have maybe one more exercise for us?
Actually, I do. Okay, I'm going to show you this two different ways because this is one of the best exercises that I used when I had a knee replacement. I had a total knee replacement about 10 years ago. And so I've used these knee exercises. The first one is called knee rotations. And so you'll bring your feet close together. And from the side, let me show you. You put your hands on your knees, just above your knees. Don't let your fingers go around the knees, so just on the top. Your eyes are about 6 or 7 feet on the floor in front of you. And you're going to make little tiny circles. Little tiny circles. Now, if you're doing this on the kybun mat or in your shoes, you're going to feel how the weight shifts and goes around the circle on the bottom of the feet. And you do that in one direction, and then you do that in the other direction. What I want you to do is use your imagination when you're doing this. I want you to imagine that you're polishing the surfaces of the knee. Now, sometimes people come into my class and I go make circles and they'll be like this. This is not good, okay? The smaller the circle and the smoother the circle, the more benefit that you're going to get from that, okay? That's one. The other one that I used, and this one, I would love for you to do it on the floor first until you can find your own balance. This is a really, really good one for the knee because when we pick up the knee like this, where this part of the leg is parallel to the floor, the weight of the foot pulls the knee joint open. When we make little circles with the foot, without moving the foot, just keep the foot still, just from the knee. Well, what's going on right there is that the weight of the foot pulls the joint open, and you get to move the synovial fluid inside the knee joint sac that lubricates and heals the knee. So now, and this one. So here's a 2 centimeter. And again, when you start this, starting on the floor first and get used to what it feels like, and then move up to the mat. Again, when I do it on the mat, now all the postural muscles in this leg and this whole top of the body are working while I'm working my knee at the same time. So I get 2 times the benefit if I do that on the mat. And of course, the thicker the mat is, the more challenging the whole program becomes. So these are some things that you can do, these couple of little exercises. Believe me, if you do them, you're going to feel a great difference. I know it's a different way of thinking. I know most people think you have to work hard and strong to get, and exercise hard to get strong. I'm telling you, exercising slow, being conscious of your breath, being conscious of those 3 spots on the bottom of your feet will change your life because you've never kept yourself in balance and had those spots in your attention before. So everything you do now is going to be changed in a new way where every movement is going to be done when you're in balance. Again, remember, if you feel weight on the front of the foot, the back muscles are going to get tight. You're going to have backaches and back pains. These muscles are tight. If your weight is on your heels, you're going to probably have indigestion problems. You're going to have stomach issues because your muscles in your stomach are tight. When you're in balance, the muscles in the front, the muscles in the back, the guide wires are in balance. And when the guide wires are in balance, your pelvis is straight, your back is relaxed, you're gonna feel 100% better. So.
Thank you very much, Joe. I'm wondering if in the audience there are more questions. There's actually the opportunity to ask questions through the Q&A. So if anybody has a question, I think this is a great time. It says, are the shoes good for running, Joe?
I believe that the shoes are good for running. I think that the shoes are great for everything. Because again, the more that you can get the muscles to fire, the stronger that you're going to be. And I think that when you start to exercise and run in the shoes, it's going to force the body to work in a very mechanical, structured way, the way the human body is supposed to move. So I believe that the shoes would be wonderful to use for run.
Right. Thank you, Joe. So we actually, maybe I explain quickly, we have two types of shoes. We have shoes with a lower sole, a low rebounder, and a shoe with a higher rebounder. You have more effect if you have a high rebounder, but so it is a little bit your preference. And Sue actually says, I use mine on the tennis court. So you can run, and if you're a runner, I wouldn't, I would, what Joe says, would start very slowly and see how it works so that you not overdo it. And then I usually wear an orthotic in my shoes for pronation. Do I wear an orthotic in my kybun shoes? And Joe, I can maybe answer that. So we do not recommend wearing orthotics because then in the kybun shoes, because then your muscles in your feet cannot really work that well. And what kybun does, as Joe explained, it really fires your muscles, how he says, and an orthotic puts you more into a position, and it doesn't let you move the muscles properly. And here now I have the chat from Sue. I wear mine on as tennis court shoes. Fabulous, she says. And the orthotics, how long does it get you? We recommend doing it without to be able to really retrain your muscles. And then another question, how long does it take to get used to the shoes, Joe?
Well, I think that you can do that gradually. Try them for a few hours a day. My wife has had them. Several of my clients have had them. And I've always recommended that they start out with 2 or 3 hours and then go 4 or 5 hours and build up to it, because you are now challenging the body in a whole new way. And those muscles, it's like, when you first start working out, they get a little bit sore. So a little is a lot better than one day you do a lot and then the next day you can't do it. Mm-hmm. We're always looking to build foundation. Mm-hmm. Two other little fast things, Carolyn. The person, Pamela, I think, is using them for tennis. I just want you to know that the tennis, these are so good because tennis puts so much stress on the knee, that stop and go, stop and go. Now you have that rebounder under the foot. So that's going to take a lot of the stress out of the knee using that for a sport like that. And the other thing is with the orthotics. Just imagine if you put your hand in a cast and left it there forever. Nothing's going to move anymore. That's what orthotics do to the bottom of the feet. The foot needs to move. The foot is like the palm of the hand. When you move, the foot has got a spring. That's why the mat and the shoes I've used for people with plantar fasciitis, and their feet get soft and supple again. They can move. So these are great questions, and these are great things.
The same person that asked about the orthotic is asking, actually, how do I get used to my kybun shoes? The ones I wore them without the orthotic, it hurt my hips.
Again, once you start to make a change, sometimes things get worse before they get better because the muscles are now working in a different way. So if you haven't used the muscles in your hips for 10 years and now all of a sudden you put on the kybun shoes or you get on the mat and those muscles start working, they're going to get a little bit sore. That's why I recommend gradual. See what you can do and then do it. Don't try and improve every day, every time. That's a Western way of thinking. What we want to do is build up 10, 20, 30 days at one level, then move 10, 20, 30 days at another level. A progression, that's the way this will work.
So I think, do we have any more questions? I don't see any more. Thank you everybody so much for listening to Joe and to kybun. So thank you very much.
Carolyn, thank you for having me. It's been great. For all those who are out there listening, I want you to know that The shoes and the mat can turn your home into a full workout and a full gym. So during these times when we're not moving around so much on the outside, get this and you can keep yourself healthy and fit. Namaste.
Thank you.